basically because like you're in each and every
Well, yeah, because
genre of pop.
I'm a pop writer. I'm a pop core. I'm a core. I'm a core pop writer. Like I can do pop. But I love R&B. I love jazz. I want to do jazz. I've written some jazz that I hopefully will come out at some point. And there's a lot of music that I have in my catalog that hasn't seen the light of day yet. So my goal is in the next year or two is just to get the music out. You know, getting music is about finding vehicles for the music too. So you can do this amazing song, but you still need an artist in a vehicle or a project to release the music through. And sometimes you don't. You can do things through sync, film, and TV. You can create nowadays you can create your own project and put it out, which I'm going to do as well. So I'm excited about how technology has afforded us the opportunity to basically take power over, you know, our process and what we do and how we do it. Whereas when I started, you had to go through a major label or just a major distributor to get your music to the masses. Now you don't have to. So it's a wonderful time for creators. The other piece is understanding your rights and understanding what you're deserving of from a business standpoint, and that's the part that I want to help to bridge the gap. Hopefully, not only with just myself, but others to bridge the gap for. So.
All right, got you. That definitely does make a lot of sense. I have to say, that definitely does make a lot of sense. And okay, I saw another one. Another one said match pop. They keep coming in, but you know,
Where's Paul? Where's Paul? Is he still having technical difficulties?
yeah, I think Paul's still having technical difficulties. But here's the perfect thing. Paul has his, like, he told me some of the questions he was going to ask, so I'll ask them on his behalf, and you know, perhaps for the next interview that we're going to have, he'll be all set. It's just IG Live can do this to people at times. So right now, I'd say that the next thing that we're probably going to talk about is to do with some of the Zim artists, but name dropping. So I sent you a little bit about Jam Master. I don't know if you managed to actually look at any of the Jam Master tracks. What do you think about them?
I think it's great. I think the Jam Master is great. I think specifically, I think I would want to listen to more of his catalog than I did, to be honest with you, because I was quite to listen to all of it. I think, you know, the artists you sent were really, really fantastic. My question to you is, within Zimbabwe, how are they moving the culture?
I love that question. I really do. So in Zimbabwe, Curtis, there is something called 𝗏𝗏𝕬𝕐𝗏, and that is the main thing that pops in here. And the king of 𝗏𝗏𝕬𝕐𝗏 is probably Winky D, right? Some people would argue it's this other gentleman called Killer T, and a little while back it used to be somebody called Talkie Vibes and everything. So it's quite a big genre within Zimbabwe. So 𝗏𝗏𝕬𝗐𝗏 would probably be the first thing, but when you're saying how are we moving the needle as Zimbabweans, how are Zimbabweans working on more and more tracks, I would say that now more than ever, the hip hop culture is really being embraced in Zimbabwe. There were always hip hop artists, there were always rappers, but now they're getting more of an appreciation than they normally did. For a long time, it was always two genres which would dominate, right? So you'd have your gospel artists, they were doing really big. And then you'd have your Zim dancehall artists, they were doing pretty well. But then you'd have people who are trying to sing anything, let's say contemporary rock, or maybe they're trying to rap, doing the R&B. They did not get as much recognition as the people who were doing Zim dancehall would, because most Zimbabwean people here, like the demographic aside, had more of a bias towards Zim dancehall because they saw it as an original and indigenous type of music, whereas hip hop, whereas rap, all this stuff, they saw it more as external. So they would prefer to listen to it from the States, or they'll prefer to listen to it from European countries, but then neglecting some of the stars who were already in Zimbabwe who were doing pretty well. But then in 2022, that's a completely different story. You know, you've got mega stars like ℚ𝕬𝕤. I know I sent you his track. That's one of my favorite rappers currently from Zimbabwe. So you have people like ℚ𝕬𝕤 who are now being embraced, who are moving forward as far as the hip hop genre or rap, the way you could look at it, right? And then you also have certain people who are doing R&B to an extent, but then in a contemporary way, such as Takura. He's doing pretty big things. Also, this gentleman called Confused with a Q. He's also doing some contemporary R&B as well, but then with the touch of Shona values. So that's the main language here in Zimbabwe. So with the touch of Shona values. So we have people who are really pushing the needle in terms of what can be done in Zimbabwe and the genres that can really be acknowledged. And it's partly also because of the audience being more receptive, because initially we were not that receptive. Usually it was, like I told you, gospel music or Zim dancehall. Those are the people who would be famous. Then there is one guy who's a standalone guy. He's a giant in Zimbabwe in terms of his music, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝕐𝗏. He's probably the most famous musician in Zimbabwe. I would say him and Winky D. So with 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, it's like he makes music that only he gets to go out viral, right? So there are a number of people who try to do what he's doing, but it's difficult. Like if you were to ask me what type of a genre he has, I would say he's more towards the traditional, original Zimbabwean sound, which was more of I'm trying to really put it in a genre. It's difficult to put in a genre, but if you can think of, I think traditional is the right word, right? And it's more like he sings. It's a mixture of R&B. It's a mixture of a little bit of reggae, but then it's more traditional to like the Zim sound. So he's somebody who is still using tracks that would have been famous in the 80s, but he's getting really viral with those tracks right now in 2022. But like I say, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, he's an exception to the rule. He's a standalone guy who's able to make it work with that. So we have a lot of diverse characters, Curtis. I'm happy you asked me this question. I think you can see just how excited I am to explain that.
I know. Okay, let me see. The reason why I say that is because I think because you're so passionate about it, and you have audiences outside of Africa. I think you should help bring those artists to the rest of the world. I think you should highlight them. You do a great job with your Clubhouse series. Like Charles, just so everybody knows, Charles has an incredible Clubhouse series where he brings notable people on to talk about their discipline, but also to share information and knowledge, which is great. But I think you should highlight some of these people and bring them on, and so people can not only know them as artists and musicians, but know their story. Because I think a lot of times people are interested in, okay, how did you start doing what you're doing? Why do you do it? What drives you? What makes you passionate about it? So that's something you could do.
Interesting. I'm happy you alluded to that. That's something I've been thinking of doing as well. And since you've said it, and since I thought of it, this is like confirmation. We'll probably look towards doing that. And like you say, having an audience from other parts of the world, connections from other parts of the world, it'll definitely be good to connect local artists with several heavy hitters from the States and Europe. It could be life-changing for them, because I fully believe that Zimbabwean musicians have all the talent in the world. It's just the recognition that sometimes they don't have, the global recognition, but they're extremely talented, like I was saying. And I don't know, had you gotten a chance to listen to Gemma Griffiths in particular? Gemma Griffiths and maybe Anita Jackson, because they do make tracks in English. I know a bunch of the ones that I sent you were more in Shona or in other you know, vernacular languages that we have. But did you manage to listen to anything from the likes of Jammeh Griffiths and Anita Jackson?
I didn't get. I listened to 2 or 3 artists. I don't know if I remember those particular 2 though.
You're all right.
Yeah, but we'll have a follow up about the. We'll have a follow up about those artists another time. We'll speak about that because I've been working really hard developing things. But I think we should. I think there should be a forum where we do actually isolate the music and discuss it, because I think for people like me, you're no, because it's like with music, it's not just a matter of like, okay, I'm listening to it, but it's also you're experiencing the music and you're kind of giving it, you know, you're letting it, that you're digesting it and you're getting to the experience of, you know what? No, because I mean, with me, the way I listen to music is I listen to a song, but then I want to hear more songs to get an idea of the story of the artist. So if I'm hearing one song, I'm thinking, oh, this is a great song. But to really get into the artist, I'm thinking, okay, I need to listen to more to see how cohesive the music is, or you know, what their story is, what their angle is. I think it's important, what their message is. So it's really something where you need to take the time to really get to know an artist. Otherwise, listen to one song is like speed dating. But listening to the catalog is really getting to, it's really getting to know them and saying, oh wow, you know, there could be a piece that wasn't a single, could have been an album, because that actually is more connected to the core of who that artist is, as opposed to the popular song that everybody knows.
Gotcha. Hey, I I love what you said towards the end. It made me chuckle a little bit. Like speed dating. Yeah, I get what you're saying, because when you're listening to music, especially somebody who has your ear for music, you want to let it digest. You want to really assimilate what's being said, and you don't just want to listen to it on a surface level, whereby you hear the beat and what the person's saying, but you really want to let it sink in and soak it in. Like you said, I think the best way, the word you use right there is perfect. You say you want to discover like how it really makes you feel, and to be able to feel music, probably you need to listen to it maybe once or twice or 3 times, with a really attentive ear, and that cannot be sped up. Otherwise, it'd be like, you know, like say it's speed dating basically. But I'm happy that you know you suggested that perhaps one of the other segments we should do in future is listening to some of these artists and their music and all of that. In fact, I'll do you one better. We'll have some of them on at the same time as you. I think it'll be an honor for them, and you'd probably enjoy conversations with most of them.
Yeah, I would. I mean, like, to me, I feel like, you know, everyone, you know, what's so great about music, and, you know, if you go to different territories, there are major artists in different territories that, you know, people in America have no knowledge of. Like, for example, I have a really good friend and colleague. His name is 𝗏𝕐𝕐. He's actually British, but he's one of the biggest producers in Hong Kong. And through him, I had the opportunity to work with an artist named Sandy Lam. And Sandy Lam is like the Madonna of China. Like, she's been out since 1985. She's the biggest female artist in China, and she's still touring. And I think she's slowed down a bit, but I got a chance to work on her last project. And I tell you, we were on the street. Everyone knew her. Everyone knew who she was. She could barely get through. You know, if you go into a store, it's like, but if she were to be in the United States, no one would know who she is. And it taught me a lesson it said, you know, listen, there's a world out there in different parts of the world. They have their heroes. They have their major artists. They have their people that they love. And they're no different than what the people that you love, you know, or what you. So for me, working on her project, it's a big deal over there. Now, it might not mean much here, but that's okay. So I encourage everyone to have a career. If they want a career in music, do not limit yourself just to the United States. There's a world out there. The world is your oyster. You heard that statement. It's a world. So the opportunity, some of your biggest, you know, success may come from another territory. As an artist, some of your biggest audience might be in another territory. So allow yourself the flexibility to pursue the world, as opposed to just thinking, okay, if I don't make it on the Billboard Hot 100, I'm not a success. Listen, I made it on the Billboard Hot 100 and it was great, but yet I feel even more successful having had a #1 record in Japan, a #1 record in Korea, a #1 record in different parts of the world. It's the same to me. These are milestones, and it's just more or less a sign that you're living in your purpose, and you're doing what you love to do, and it confirms that you made the right choice to do what you love to do. And whether I did well or not, I still love music enough that I would create it anyway, without any of the credits. I still would love it the same.
I like what you say there about how different areas have their greats, they have their beloved, they have their artists whom they put on a pedestal. And when those artists step out into another area, perhaps they're not even known altogether. So what that really did make me think about is just how big the world is really in truth, and how each, like the biggest artists out there, the ones who are really able to take it to another level, are the ones who are open to learning and collaborating with different types of artists from who are big in other regions, and taking up their ideals, taking up their style as well, just learning from them and being willing to embrace. I think the biggest thing is being willing to embrace different sounds and seeing how that can work out for them. Because if I think about it, right, let's give an example of some of the biggest performers currently. Let's say we look at somebody like Drake. Drake has collabed with just about every big person around the world. Like, that's part of what he does. He knows this is something that allows him to also have a big reach in certain areas. He has been able to collaborate with people from the African region, as far as people who, you can give examples such as Davido or Wizkid, people whereby they basically are big here in Africa. They have this sound that they have. They have this really good, authentic Afrobeat type of sound that they have. And Drake, he embraces that as well. And then he collabs with some people from maybe the European region. I know that he made this track, was it in 2020 or something, called War, and he was collaborating with some UK artists. And he's also been pushing in terms of collaborating with North Americans, South Americans, you name it. He's collaborated with Asians before, and he has very much that approach that you were saying when you're saying that the world is your oyster, whereby you don't just stop in one area where you think, well, this is music. If I'm doing this type of thing, then I'm just only going to do this type of thing. As an artist, whether you're an up and comer or you're somebody who's established, exploring is probably one of the best things that you can do, and being able to collaborate with people who have their own types of audiences and learn from them as well, while you're also adding value to them. Perhaps that's one of the best ways to go in terms of growing a brand. However, I would say that it's easier said than done. But in present day, like you were saying, Curtis, it's probably easier for artists to collaborate today than it was 30 years ago, because they can collaborate on the most trivial of things. People can collaborate even over over TikToks or social media, and not even over a record. The record could be something that happens later on, but there's so much real estate, like virtual real estate, for artists to take advantage of in terms of trying to collaborate with each other or trying to push out their brand. And I know that you spoke about this extensively in one of the interviews that we had, the first one that we had, and you spoke about how it is important for artists to be able to utilize the digital tools that they have in present day, such as, TikTok, like I already mentioned that, such as IG Reels, Facebook, all of this, and not just wait on the system, such as record labels, to be the only ones which are promoting them, because when you're starting out, perhaps you don't have that much push from a record label, or you don't ever have a record label altogether. So what you're saying has really been making me think really outside the box. Definitely has been.
Yeah, just to kind of wrap up, you know, technology has offered us the opportunity to really proliferate our music and our content, not just music. Like, you know, you can, as a creative artist, you have NFTs, you have blockchain. Like I said, one of the companies I'm going to be working with is a company called ℚ𝕦𝕣𝕥𝕚. They're out of Oxford, UK, and I will be developing a course, an educational course for the metaverse, and I'm excited about that because what the pandemic has taught us is that we have to be resourceful and connecting with one another. The connection is still important. So we're not able to physically, like me, you know, you're in a whole other continent than from where I am, but we're having this conversation. So with technology, we're able to still stay connected. So how do we get the information to the masses without moving? Well, we do it this way, and in the future, there'll be the metaverse. So, well, not that far in the future. So the ability to do that is just something that excites me because, like I said, I believe in disruption. That's how we grow. I remember when Napster came along and people were scared of it, and Napster birthed what we see now in regards to this, you know, the digital platforms such as, you know, ℚ𝕂𝗵𝗁, which is in China, and then you have Spotify, you have Apple Music, you have all these Tidal. So we have to be open to having the conversation about where things are going to go, so that we're preparing ourselves and not just chasing it. So my goal and my commitment to the next leg of my career is to, one, educate, two, be a part of the change, and three, be in a position to help develop and build and highlight new talent, which I'm doing, which I'm about to do something really cool. I'll share that with the world when it's time. But that's really the focus now. It's not about me and what I've done. To be honest with you, I'm grateful to God for every opportunity, every success, every non-success, every learning lesson, mistakes, everything, every triumph, everything. I'm grateful for everything because it led me here to understand that this is bigger than me and it's bigger than you. And although we do love our successes, and it's great when people say, hey, great job, I look at it as encouragement to continue and say, you know what? Let me use this platform to help, to assist, to encourage, to uplift. And if anybody who follows my social media will see, I do a lot of quotes. So the quotes are just reminders, and they're just things that I want to share with others, just to remind them that, you know, you are important, and what you do and what you bring to the table has value, and do not discount yourself, even if it seems as though no one elevates you. Make sure you always value what you do and what you bring, and continue to grow in that. And that's all I have to say. That's it.
That was beautiful. That's definitely a beautiful note to end things off. And as we're closing, just to people, Paul was supposed to be the one who was asking a good chunk of the questions, but unfortunately, technical difficulties. However, do show him some love by clicking. I pinned his comment right there. Just go ahead and pin and tap on that Paul Farai. If you're in the live right now, give him a follow and reach out to him as well. He's definitely a very, very adept journalist, and he is one of those people who is a really good critical thinker. So I think a lot of people would benefit from knowing him on a personal level, as well as Curtis. You know, Curtis, everything you've been saying today is also shown that you have your huge background too in journalism. You're just super talented, and it's good to have you here as well. You know, it's not like, I know a lot of people only know you from the music side, but you're also somebody who has a journalism degree and several other big things that you've done. More and more things are going to be unearthed as you reveal more about yourself, and I'm really excited for that side of things. But thank you for the live. And for people, please make sure you go to Curtis' profile as well. Give him a follow. Look at some of the things that he has going on. He has fantastic quotes that he puts out every day, motivational quotes. Most days, those quotes keep me going. So thank you again, Curtis. I consider you a really, really, really cool friend. So it's good to just have this conversation and have other people getting a chance to see what we sometimes do discuss. But thank you, man.
Well, I want to thank you, Charles, and please, everyone, follow Charles's profile as well. Charles is doing a major work in bringing people to the, to the forefront. I know me, I'm very much a behind-the-scenes person, where Charles has been so eloquently encouraging me to be more up front, which, if I'm going to be up front, I want to encourage. But Charles is also a scientist, and he has an incredible background as a scientist, a data scientist, and he's extremely intelligent. And so hopefully one day he'll share his background and what he does to the world, because I think it will encourage people, especially people of color, that there are so many opportunities in so many different parts of of life, for different industries. So so we definitely should embark on having a conversation, and I can interview you, because as Mr. As Charles said, I do have a background in journalism. And it's something I haven't done in a while, but I would love to talk about your background as well. But thank you for this opportunity, this time. And in closing, we both wish you all the very best in everything that you endeavor, and wish you great success in all walks of life, and just continue to be encouraged. And I pray your blessings. Take care.
Take care, my friend. Thank you to everybody who has come. And enjoy the rest of your weekend, people. Cheers.
Bye. Take care. Bye.